Here I've got an Elegoo Neptune 3 Pro. Just gonna be assembling it.
All right, so you're got so fresh with your Ender 3, right?
Ender 3 V2, yeah.
So we're opening up this new one to see if it's less work. Walk you through the setup process.
Yeah.
That was from BC Hobbies in Victoria, British Columbia.
So yeah, it's nice. So it's nicely packaged in the foam here.
Is it going to be that nightmare assembly we had with the Ender 3?
Hope not. It's got a manual for it, and then a notice to make sure you tighten up everything and adjust for the voltage. A screen mount, it's magnetic. Accessories, all the parts required for building it. A scraper, similar to the ones you find on a resin printer. An extra nozzle, SD card, and adapter, and a very small amount of sample PLA. Got a spool holder here. A glue stick for a print bed adhesion. A power cord, and the other part of the spool holder. And this is the main X and Z axis assembly here.
Gonna damage our dining room table.
And here's the Y-axis assembly. And the LCD touchscreen, with another warning to make sure your voltage is correct.
Now, when you say make sure the voltage is correct, do you have to adjust that in some
It's just
way?
like a little switch, because for Europe and other parts of the world, it's like 240 volts, but in North America, you set it down to like 110.
I see.
Yeah, it's just like a little switch on the side, but this should be adapted. And there we go.
Would you like me to move the... You can move it.
So that's everything in terms of inside the box. So this comes with a PEI coated spring steel bed. Just pops onto there. The instructions. And so the assembly of this is much easier than other printers because the X and Z axis are connected already on it, in the hot end as well. So you just have to screw it onto here, which is a pretty straightforward process.
Now, the Ender involved a lot of swearing and hours. I still not the same person I was when I started helping with that a year ago.
So here it goes over everything, has all the hardware that is included. And then for the instructions, pretty straightforward. So the first step is to attach this assembly to this. These are the Allen keys that are included. Comes with a couple screwdrivers, wrench. And here we go. So I'm going to be using these to attach that to there. And we need 4. Now this is
Do you want me to get a towel so you don't damage our dining room table?
That's probably a good idea.
All right, so you continue with that. I'll go get a towel. Be right back. All right, we're back with a towel on the table.
You can assemble, so it's got 4 bolts that you put underneath these holes here. Those go in there. Just kind of stay like that. Very nicely organized cable management here. these are, now I got 2 bolts. It's going to just be used to attach for the meantime before you add the other ones in. That just goes onto here, there. It's probably useful to turn this on its side. So it's not super simple to assemble with 1 pair of hands, but with 2 it would be much easier. So yeah, that just goes on like that.
I'd help, but I'm really comfortable here.
So you don't want to tighten those all the way, just enough, because you want everything to be aligned properly before you tighten everything down.
Now, you've looked briefly at the instruction manual, but what are you guiding this off of? I mean, you saw it in store.
Yeah, it's pretty straightforward too, and I've seen stuff online. So those 2 are on. And these Allen keys are nice because they've got a little ball so you can do it at different angles. This one in. Oops. What's also nice about these are big rubber feet for it, which would dampen some of the noise and vibrations caused by it. Okay, so now that those are in, put it up like that.
Now, have you tightened it up now?
Not completely. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring this down. So to make sure everything is aligned, I'll bring this down to its lowest level. So that way they're nice and straight with it. And then now I can flip it back on its side and I can tighten them fully. And so they want to be tight, but not like super tight. So just where like it'll feel like it'll stop and you don't want to force it too much after that.
So firm, but not
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah. That one's good. Put this on this side actually, and that'll make it easier. There, so it's nice and tight. Okay, so now I got that all good. And one of the nice features about this is on the Z-axis, you've got 2 rods which are connected by a pulley, which adds for greater accuracy between the 2 stepper motors. And you've also got the direct drive hot end on this, which is really nice. After that.
Okay.
So the next step is to, after attaching this assembly to here, is to attach the screen holder. So get these, and it calls for 3 of these and 4 screws. And then this, and this goes right off the side here. So I'll probably put this back on its side. And I'll use a filament box to just lift that up a bit. And so now you can see the 3 holes there. And so these just pop right into those. Put these in. Get the appropriate Allen wrench.
So what's going to be different about the screen on this versus the Ender?
Well, it's a touch screen, which is nice.
Okay.
It's also an LCD screen, So it's pretty high resolution. The magnetic attachment here is kind of a pain to.
Did you say it was color as well?
It is colored, I believe. And it's got a.
We'll
before
find
you
out.
have a file, it has the a little preview of it. It has an image of what the file looks like.
Oh,
So
really?
you can know additionally before you print it, which is a nice feature, which some of the newer printers have been using.
Now, were they saying something about it being a lot quieter as well?
Yes, this is much quieter, and it's like it doesn't have a silent mode because it doesn't need it, and it still has extremely adequate part cooling on the hot end,
Right.
and it has 2 fans to cool the part.
Now,
A really nice
what is it like for someone that has you were telling me there's a motherboard that you upgrade that you can get for the Ender
So
that makes it
the
quieter.
solid
With
motherboard
this,
definitely does make it quieter, but I think this is probably going to be quieter than that.
oh really?
Yeah. So next we have the screen here, and this just pops right onto there, and then it plugs in right here. Plugs into the front there. What's kind of nice is you can take this, and you can have it like you can mess around with it, and then it goes right back. So it's kind of useful. And yeah, the bed pops off, which is really nice because to take off the print, you can just take it off. If it doesn't pop up immediately, you can just give it a little flex.
Right.
And it'll come right off. And it also features a mesh bed leveling system, which is really handy because you don't need to ever level the bed. It doesn't even have the screws on the bottom to turn and level it.
That
Really
was,
handy.
you got that auto leveler upgrade for the Ender,
Yes.
but prior to that, that was something that
That was,
also caused me some hair loss.
yeah.
Yeah.
And so then we got the spool holder. So it screws onto there. And then this goes on top, like this. Oops.
Butterfingers.
Top, tighten those a bit. So you can have this on any side. It's got threads on both sides. And what's nice is it's conveniently located. It's got the direct drive system. And so it also comes with a filament runout sensor, which is really nice because this comes with all those upgrades that you would have to buy. So
Now, are there a whole bunch of upgrades for this printer that you get when you buy it, or is it fairly complete?
it is quite complete when you buy it. And this is a this filament sensor. It moves freely on it, so you can have that on. So if my filament roll is going to be here, I can put it on this side.
And when you say filament sensor, excuse my ignorance, does that just sense if it's running out of filament?
Yeah, so if there's no filament,
Right.
it'll pause the print and come over here so you can load a new filament and it can resume the
Oh, I
print
see.
it was doing.
And that was an upgrade on the Ender, right?
Yes. And so if you're printing large prints, then that's a really nice feature to have.
Right.
She'll probably put this on this side and switch that because then it's closer to the cable there. Yeah, this is quite straightforward to assemble. Unlike with the Ender 3V2 with the filament sensor, or not the filament sensor, but with the auto leveling and any other upgrades, you don't need to flash any new firmware. It comes ready for this, running on, I believe, Marlin 2.0 or so.
What's that?
It's just like a firmware for 3D printers. And you can see it's not, even if this is fully tight here, but it's still flexing around. That's not a defect, that's part of it. So you can have the filament running to any part of the bed.
I see.
You can still use that. And so then this plugs into here. And you could run it through the back, but then you're interfering with the belts. So that just goes right into
So
there.
it comes up, feeds under the bar, and then.
But I'm sure you could probably go over there. It's
I
not
see.
set in the instructions on how to plug it in. And then there's a buckle fixing. So I'm going to go on. plug
Sorry,
this.
what's the buckle fixing?
So that's for cable management on this. So that's this part here, and so that holds the cables attached to here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this and I'm going to plug it into the hot end assembly. So it's quite simple. You just kind of plugs in like that. Okay.
So it's going to be so interesting about this printer to me. One of our assessments of the Ender was it was kind of still an early product for enthusiasts, right? That there's a lot of tinkering for innovators and early adopters that are willing to troubleshoot and figure out what's going on from the assembly process, but also just the day-to-day printing. So I'm going to be really curious.
These pop off the side. That makes more sense. Okay. And so then this just plugs into there.
Getting a lot of fingers here. What's the?
There, and then that clicks on. I was trying to plug it in with these, so there, and then this.
Sorry, can you move your fingers and just explain what you did there?
So what I was doing was I had it, but I was trying to, these pull aside.
I see.
And I was trying to just find its way
Cram it in.
It's got a little clip up here, which you can bed it into, and that helps cable management.
I see, it just feeds it in there.
And so this.
So you open those up rather than
Exactly, these push
got it.
aside. And then you've got, so this filament clip on the side here, which goes on here, helps cable manage, so you just don't have that.
Right.
So the furthest
I see.
over it would ever go. And then you can kind of take this clip and put the cables in it. And then
So
this,
one of the things what I was going to say is I find really interesting is maybe this will be a printer that if the assembly is this easy, and if it's reliable in day-to-day use and there's not all these upgrades, that maybe this moves from being that early adopter, innovator type product to being something that reaches more the early majority, right? The
Right.
mainstream audience where they want to print stuff, not futz around with
Exactly.
a 3D printer.
yeah.
You don't mind futzing around a little bit, you get frustrated, but for me, if I have something I want 3D printed, I'm not looking to spend a whole bunch of time
Right.
troubleshooting. I just want to get the print done.
So this just screws into here. And that just helps clean everything up. And you can see when it's
I see.
printing, it won't include, and you can,
I see.
you can loosen it off a little bit, yeah.
Makes sense.
So that's nice. After that,
So how far through are we now? Are we?
there, it looks like this is the end. It's one more, and that's just
Wow.
and that's just plugging in everything. So we can plug in filament sensors already plugged in, and you can see this is X and X. So this is going to be for the filament runout switch, which it does use. And so the smaller cable goes to this, of course. So the X-axis switch, so the printer knows when homing where it is and when to stop.
I
And
see.
then this goes for the
You just
X-axis.
did you hit a button on the other side?
Yeah, it's a little switch.
Just
so
come
when
around and show it.
So when it's moving,
When
and auto homing, it can figure out when it
And where's
stops.
that?
It's right here. So it's moving.
Oh,
along,
I see.
and
Okay,
then-
okay.
Can
So
we
we don't
sort
have to press that or select anything. It just
No,
it's for the printer.
yeah, it's for the printer
It's a
to know where
switch.
it is, and then this plugs into the stepper motor, which
Alright.
looks like it plugs in on the bottom
see.
here.
Yep.
It goes in this way. Yeah, I think so. There we go. That's hooked up, and then so we did these two. Now there's the Z-axis stepper. So we've
Or
got
Z if you're in the United States.
yeah. So there's one here. Super simple. You just bring it down, plug that in. There we go. Oh, I guess not.
Come on, Ben. People's time is valuable here.
Looks like there's a little button there.
Just kidding. Shall I pause it?
Yeah.
All right, I paused it and like a second later it went in. So
Okay, and then looks like here
okay,
we've got to connect these together. So
I can tell with that. Okay.
so these two connect, and then this is the other Z-axis stepper. So then this goes
Are they labeled? How do you know which is which?
because it's got these.
Oh,
yeah,
one's
they're
wider.
labeled.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it says
Oh,
there.
yeah.
And this
How
goes-
about that?
And then these go into each other like that. Perfect. and then this will go into this stepper here. There we go. And then check all the different, make sure everything's plugged in. It also says to adjust the voltage to match the local voltage before use, and so that looks like
It's on 230 right now. Do you want it 115?
Yeah.
All right, so give it
Screwdriver. Now it's set to 115.
a. All right.
So,
And what happens if you don't do that?
not good things, I would assume.
All right.
Might try something. It just better than not. It also comes with zip ties if you want to cable manage further. So that's done.
That was inconclusive ramifications, but definitely set it for the right voltage.
And then it says to make sure all these little parts here, these are nice.
Okay, and they move smoothly.
Yeah, so you want to be able to move, but like, so this one feels a bit loose. So you want to move, but not like too tight. This feels good. There's 4 on here.
Okay.
So they feel pretty sweet.
But you said that one was loose. Is that a problem?
I could tighten that a bit, so it comes with a wrench.
Oh, I see.
It's not like loose, it's just it could use a bit of tightening.
All right. So if it is loose or it's too tight or something,
Yeah, it says in
you righty-tighty, lefty-loosey, and just get it so that it moves.
So you want it to, so if you hold it, you want it to move, but not super, like.
Okay, so a little bit of resistance.
Yeah. So you can tighten it. Nuts. That's better. Okay, and then same with the bottom rollers. Here they are. These all feel good to me. It's pretty nice that they come pretty much.
I failed at assembling the ender for you. And I had to involve my friend Bob, who's a mechanical engineer, when we tried to get it installed last Christmas. But this is something that
It's so easy.
I feel like I could have done.
And it also gives you a full tour of the user interface, which is very similar to other 3D printers in terms of it's all the similar settings. So if you're using an Ender like 3 or 3v2 or something like that, it's going to be very similar. So now I think the next step is to plug it in. So that was very quick assembly. Plug that into there.
I don't know why I'm filming this part. Here we are.
Power on. Oh,
Is that really in?
power supply unit.
It didn't look crammed in. Oh, yeah, like that.
Oh, I just turned it off.
Okay.
There we go. Here we've got the boot up on the screen. Now another thing, warning for the voltage. Worth it just for that. Yeah, it's a nice high resolution screen. Also comes with a pair of like clippers, which is nice. And the cord so you can connect it to your computer.
Well, walk me through that. So you can plug that
Directly to your computer or like a Raspberry Pi or something for Octoprint. So yeah.
What kind of USB connection is that there?
USB-A, I think maybe. Not entirely sure.
Square one that I like to see because I don't have.
So yeah, this is a really nice interface. You can see it's kind of got moving. Needs to be calibrated and leveling, so you have to calibrate it so that the distance from the nozzle to the base should be a piece of paper. So that's your Z offset. So it has a perfect first layer.
What did you just do?
So it said to go to, when the machine is powered on, select level. Each axis of the printer will automatically return to its origin. And then after entering the level and page, click the calibration icon. So I'm just waiting for it to auto home. So in you've got settings, and it's got settings you can control everything, about machine, everything, but it's also got light control. So you've got LEDs up there, which is pretty cool. Okay.
So that's so the printer head can see what it's doing. Sorry. Yeah. Yes, your dad to help. You get dad jokes.
And so you can also turn off the beeping.
Oh, that's nice.
I'm pretty sure I saw that in the menu. So that is the calibration icon there. Click on that. So calibrate. So this just brings it through. I'm assuming it checks out their mister and brings out the heat and checks everything on the bed. So it brings the bed to 60 degrees Celsius and the nozzle to 140, which would not be your standard printing temperature.
Now we're in Canada. We're in Celsius. Does this have Fahrenheit settings for people?
I'm sure it
In the
would.
US?
It's probably just one of the like accessibility settings. So I'm waiting for the next one to probably get filament on the it's pretty sweet.
Sorry, I turned it off because I thought it was going to be boring, but then he has something to say. Go ahead.
So in the calibration settings, so you click on that, and after that you want to level it until it's reached all the temperatures. So you can see it's at 140 and almost at 60. But what it does after that is what's unique about this is just it has a 36-point calibration or level. So it takes 36 points all around the board to get a full mesh of what that would be, and then it adapts your G code instead of actually like mechanically leveling it. It does it software. It comes in the software, which is pretty crazy to have that many points. So now it seems to be, yeah. So there, that's the part there that does the auto leveling, and so it goes across, and it's going to take 36 points, and then create a digital map. And so you can see on the screen here.
Right. So it's done a few one. Okay. Yeah.
On
I was going to say we can come back once it's finished.
So on the screen, you can see it's going through and doing all 36 points. So it just did 5, and now it did 6.
I think we just stay here like
So
this,
6 by
so
6.
people can watch us slowly do this. I'm just kidding. I'll come back.
Okay, so just finished leveling, and the next step is to set the Z offset with a piece of paper. And so you can see here on the screen, pay attention. So that's just making it, if it's too close to the bed, it'll grind, and the filament won't feed properly. And if it's too far away, then it won't like sit. See, that's the bed right there. And so we can start adjusting it. So right now it's at 1.9. So what we can do is we can get a piece of paper, standard printer paper. We put that underneath the nozzle.
Is that on my printer? It'll cost you a nickel.
Okay, that's too much. Sorry, so right now at 1.9, let's bring it down to 2. So 2, there's a bit of friction. So we're gonna bring it to 0.01, and we can start. Oh wait, bring it to 2.5. See that? So that's probably there's
So you just feel a little bit of resistance on it?
a bit of some. I can probably keep it at that. I'll do negative 2 and a little more. And so that it should have resistance, but it shouldn't be like super hard, but it should have it should have some some friction.
It's like pulling.
Yeah. So that's
a gentle touch.
So after that, do this step first. Head feeding check. First, okay. So now, first push the filaments to the bottom of the print head. Click prepare. Okay, so prepare. Extruder. Load. Insufficient temperature. Please click to confirm. Okay, confirm.
Should be showing the screen.
Okay, so it's heating. So now it's heating up to 200 degrees which is what we want our PLA to be at. Okay. And so that just, it needs to be hot enough for it to go in. So we've got the feeding here, and then to tighten the extruder, there's a part here which you can adjust with a bolt. And you kind of see it in there, or you can, this whole assembly just pops off. And what's really nice is you've got these 2 fans on the sides for cooling, and that you've dual ducts underneath it to cool your part, which means you can do more advanced like overhangs and stuff. On the Ender 3 and many other printers, you only have 1 duct from the side. So having 2.
What's an overhang?
So it's like if you have, normally on a 3D printer, you start up and you go up, but imagine you have 2 parts and then you bridge across where there's nothing.
Oh, I see.
underneath
Yeah,
to
yeah,
support.
that makes sense.
So if it cools quickly enough.
Oh, I see. So it can actually cool it, so you can do that.
So you can do more aggressive overhangs and angles and stuff. So now we're at the correct temperature. So we can take some of our PLA. So I'm just gonna the cursor right there, I'm gonna cut the end off of that. It's a bit bendy, and then this can go through the filament sensor. You can see the light comes up.
Oh.
And so that just goes into there. So we're gonna load. So you see the gears are moving, so you just place that.
Is that auto grabbing?
It looks like it's pulling it down. Now it's just loading it. Yeah. Yeah, there we go. So now it's coming out of the nozzle down there. And so it's clearing out clearing out anything. You can see it's kind of light. And the filament, see it more blue, so any factory residue or anything is off. So now that's loaded. So we can take down key. See, so it started out, who knows, if it's anything from in the nozzle, but that's the color of the blue PLA, which is nice. So once that's loaded, after the nozzles, you feed it in, clean the melted filament, makes sense, and start printing. So now it's ready to print. Everything is calibrated and set up. Yep. So in this bag, you can see we've got another piece of PTFE tubing to go inside it. Inside the hot end, I presume. And then you've got 2 extra nozzles and an SD card, 8 gigabyte.
How many nozzles did you go through on the Ender trying to do it over the last few weeks? How many would you guess?
Probably like 5 in the last month or so. Just,
Wow.
but that's because the Z offset was too low between different slicer softwares.
Mm.
And so you can see that's adapter to USB. You just pop this out, and this goes in right here. Oh, first try.
Do you have something to print?
I believe it has your print. And so it comes with a sample print.
The Buddha.
So that's just small. Okay. For some reason it's not showing it, but oh, there we go.
There it is.
So now it's showing what the
okay.
file looks like, so you have an idea of what you're printing. And so we can turn off the LED, on or off. Leave settings like temperature, so you can increments of 10 or 1, and your heat bed temperature, so 60, 200, that's pretty standard. I've adjusted this. Yeah, makes sense. Speed, 100%. You've got your fan speed here, so you can turn on your fan.
It doesn't automatically go on?
I think it's because it's not printing right now. It's
Oh, I see.
And flow rates. Go back. Let's just let that do its thing.
So you hit print.
Yeah. So now
Here it goes.
looks like it's auto leveling. I'm just gonna put a spray of this down. This greatly helps with print adhesion.
Oh.
I hope you were.
And random window.
Yeah, let's get it right in the center there, where it's. Yeah. And this stuff is great. Just
Now you just
Great
discovered
print.
that yesterday.
Yeah, I just got this yesterday, and so far every print is stuck. So you see it did a little test
On the
on the
under.
side. Yeah. So it did a little, there was your
Alright.
print to the first layer. So far, so good. Looks like it's printing. So about an hour later, and the first print is finished. And it's super easy to take off the print bag. Just take that off. You can just hear a little flex. And it comes right off. And so it has this is called a raft, which is part to help for bed adhesion. Put that back on there. But the print quality is really nice. There's a big line there, but that's because I bumped the table, which caused a bit of layer shift. But aside from that, everything else is like really nice. The print quality is really, really good.
Wow. Success!
Yeah.
Wow.
Success.
From out of the box to the first print in not very long.
Mm.
What a difference.
Yeah. So that was, don't know the exact time, but that was quite quick setup in real time to get it printing. The first print. And it's also that you don't have to install any upgrades like on the Ender, like a filament sensor, auto leveling. It's
I
all
mean,
good to go.
What a difference.
Yeah.
The
so-
hours we spent trying to assemble all that stuff. Like that was
And for someone
Ugh.
that's
to
yeah.
be from unboxed in virtual real time, like near real time.
And someone without any experience with 3D printers could easily assemble this. You don't have to assemble any of the hot end or any of this assembly. It's really just the hardest part about the whole assembly is just these 4 screws, and even that, it's not that hard, especially if you have someone else that can help
Yeah.
assemble it.
And hopefully our very amateurish video helped.
Yeah.
Yeah. Amateurish camera work. You did an excellent
Yeah.
job. All right. Have a good one.